Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Those Foreign Guys. You're back on our podcast where you can find us on Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube. The big three.
I mean, if they're listening to this, they already know.
They might, but they might want to know where else they can find us.
Maybe they're on YouTube and then they want to do Spotify.
Yeah.
Okay.
My name is Hunter, and I'm joined here by my constant co-hosts.
Oh, me first. Brandon, as always.
Dagur.
Bryant.
And this week, we're going to be talking about a pretty interesting topic that actually isn't super just focused only on South Korea. I think it's kind of exists everywhere in the world, but especially in South Korea. We're going to be talking about
Flex culture.
Yeah. But before we get into that, we kind of want to share some news from Korea
you got
and
some
about
news?
the podcast. Yeah.
About the podcast? We have news?
I think so.
That's the first time I'm hearing
I
about
think
this.
we do. I think the first thing we could share is, of course, our Patreon.
Okay.
If you're loving the show, if you want to help support us, go check out our Patreon. It's $5 a month at the lowest tier. You can get bonus episodes every month. We want to kind of book that up to doing bonus episodes every week. So if we can get some support for that, we would absolutely love it. We can get started on that a little bit sooner. But if you can't or don't want to, your support of listening to the podcast and hitting like on the videos and subscribing and following our feeds is also
Commenting and
extremely
sharing.
helpful.
Don't forget commenting and sharing.
Also,
Yeah.
flicking the bell.
Clicking the bell. Yeah, absolutely, of course. We're going to be trying out a little bit new of a format this week and for the next...
I love how Hunter's just getting into things and then suddenly it's just
the crinkling plastic.
Yeah.
We're going to be trying a new format, a little bit shorter episodes and more focused on the topics because we got some feedback. And if you guys like that a little bit better, then we'll keep doing that. And if you guys don't like it and just want to hear us goof around for an hour, we'll go back to doing that. But we're going to try it at least for a few weeks, I think, and see how it goes. And we'd love your feedback on that. And we also want to talk about just some things that happened in Korea. I think, Bryant, you had something you wanted to kind of share. What happened in Korea this last couple weeks?
Yeah, it's by the time this is released, it's gonna be already about 3 weeks or so. But
Give or take.
Korea has changed its rule regarding Korean age. So, for those
What's
of you
that?
that don't know, basically Koreans count as a child as a 1-year-old as soon as they're born. So that immediately makes them 1 year older than the way that we would consider children in other places. And on top of that, you add another year as soon as the new year comes around. So instead of being 1 year older when it's your birthday, when it's the new year, you're just automatically 1 year older. And so the Korean government basically changed that for a lot of its legal things. And now they're going to operate under the international age that a lot of us are used to.
Finally.
Yes. Yeah, because it always causes confusion where like how old are you? And they're like, "Oh, I'm 35, so I'm older than you." And it's like, "Wait a minute, what year were you born?"
It's always the magic question.
Yeah.
What year are you?
Every time you meet a new Korean person, you have to go through that dance.
Yeah.
It's so annoying.
Yeah, because it's like 35. Is that Korean age or international age?
So I just defaulted to asking people their year.
Yeah, I was going to
Yeah.
say, I just prefer, I think asking the year is the superior way in general because I don't know about you, but I stopped counting after 25. If someone asks me, how old are you? Man, I don't know. So, I just sort of defaulted to the year. So it's just nice to get asked that.
I learned something from one of my friends the other day.
Yeah.
The way that we call it, like Korean age and international age. Have you heard what they're calling it now? So you have your Korean age. So they'll call it like your Hanguk Nai or whatever the Korean terminology is. But they call it your Yoonseok Nai, which is the president's name. So they're calling it the Yoonseok. What is it? Yoonseok. I can't even say his name. Yoonseok
Yoon
Nai.
Oh, yeah.
So they're like, oh, what's your president's name?
President
Age.
Yoon's age.
Instead of
kinda
calling
funny.
it their international age.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah. It's kind of the new slang that I learned this week. I've been learning slangs this week.
Yeah, you've been busy
That's,
this
that's
week.
what happens when you hang out with teenagers.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Mm.
23-year-olds are not teenagers.
Sorry.
Dang.
They are compared to some of us, but we won't get into that.
Well, in their
That's
new
the
Korean or
35.
in their new international age.
Oh shit. There
But
you
also,
go.
to not make Korea seem too weird for some people who are like, oh, why does Korea do that? It has been an East Asian thing for a long time. It's just that countries like China, Japan, and even North Korea stopped using this system a long time ago.
I think it's going to be interesting, like, because Korea has a very like hierarchical system based off age. You have like people calling like hyung and nuna and stuff like that. And so like I think it is going to be weird if they like fully transition and like completely got rid of Korean age. I think they'll never do that.
Oh yeah, socially, they won't.
Yeah,
I've
socially
spoken to a
it'll
lot of
still be the
students,
same
and
thing.
socially, they want to keep the ideas of hyung, nuna, and so
I mean,
for that to function, you need Korean age in some cases, because there are going to be cases where some people go from being your hyung, nuna to suddenly being the same age as
Yeah.
you.
It's like, no,
You know?
okay, for the my birthday's
younger.
3 days later.
Yeah.
Like, do I just not have to call you Nuna or Opa for like 3 days? Like, what am I supposed to do?
I think it'll be a generational change. It'll be
Yeah,
the new generations that
sure.
will start to adapt to it, probably.
The funniest way that I always
Hopefully.
explained it to people was like, if a baby's born on December 31st, they're 1 year old.
Yeah.
And then the next day, they're 2 years old.
They're 2
Even though
years
they're
old.
2 days
Yeah.
old, they're 2 years old. So if this concept is a little foreign to a lot of you listeners, don't worry about it because it's gone.
Ta-da! Magic.
Literally don't have to worry about it. In other news, they changed some transportation stuff this last week.
Yeah, I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm total gilchi, which is like the Korean word for like not being good at directions and not being good at like following the way that you're supposed to go.
Oh, we know.
So I'll get on the train and like I'll go 3 stops too far. And I'm like, wait a minute, I missed my stop. And usually what would happen in the past is you would have to get off the train, go to the other side to the other train cars, and at most stations, the like checkout point or the transit point, there's not a shared transit point between the two sides. So you have to scan out of the train, which would charge you, and then you have to scan back into the train on the other side.
And it's a different direction, so it double charges you.
Double
right?
charges you. Well, they've changed it now that when you, as long as it's within 10 minutes of charging out, if you charge back in at the same station going the other way, it doesn't charge you the extra cost anymore. And so as someone who has done that many times, usually when I'm not sober, it's a welcome change, I would say.
Well, more importantly, for those of us who are good at directions, now I get to pee in peace, right? Because sometimes the toilets are also between.
Oh,
so you
yeah.
get out of the station just to use the toilet, and you're like, is this worth the price of admission, you know? Do I want to pay to use
Well, if
the
you have other
bathroom?
business in the bathroom, then it probably is. But you only have, what, how
That's
much
it. You
time
need,
is
you
it?
got 10 minutes.
10
So
minutes?
you got to time yourself.
only got
It's
10
like,
minutes.
Go in and
To be fair-
set timer.
The Korean transportation system is probably one of the cheapest
Yeah, that
in the
is
world,
true.
I would say.
Compared to, I think for what they give you, it's definitely
Yeah.
dollar bills.
Yeah, it's
for
like $1.
Time for money. Money for time. What?
What's the conversion rate? It's
What's
like
the
$1, right?
conversion rate?
Yeah, like US dollar?
yeah,
US dollar is
more or less.
about 1,300.
Okay,
So it's about a dollar.
About $1
Yeah.
for a trip, and you can go fucking anywhere.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty cheap.
Usually
Does it-
they'll add like
doesn't-
10 cents or 20
Write
cents
it
to
out,
it
though.
if you go too far, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's not much.
It's cheaper in China.
Okay, communist, go back.
All I'm saying,
Back to country.
it's cheaper in China.
Go back your country.
Our listeners
The average person there also has less money, so
I guess maybe depends. I don't know. Like Shanghai is pretty fucking rich, and it's cheaper.
Because it's a communist country.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's communist.
So any more news?
Yeah, we had one more big change, which was only going to affect me in the group
yeah?
here. But I'm pretty, I don't know, I'm kind of on the fence about it. So they announced, I think 2 or 3 days ago, that they're changing the working conditions for students on student visas. The working requirement, like, or limitations, I guess, is something that I'm pretty passionate about when it comes to South Korea.
Because you work, yes?
No, because I can't work. That's the issue.
This is work, right?
That's the
Don't tax
issue.
us. Please.
So like I'm a 4-year student at a university in Korea where I'm going to graduate, and
You sure?
assuming, yeah, I hope so. Assuming that I graduate, you would think that they would want me to integrate into the workforce here. Well, the best
Hell
way to
no.
do that prior to graduation is to do some internships, get some experience in your final year, so that when you graduate, you can be like, hey, look, I have some experience that I did while I was in school. But the government, like, they don't want foreign students doing that. If you work in any specialized field or anything that's basically not serving at a restaurant, they're like, nope, you can't do it. Even if it's completely directly related to my major and I'm like, I'm planning to stay here after my graduation, like this is what I'm learning at your country's university so that I can work in your country to be in your workforce. They're like, nah, you can go work tables if you want.
So what's the change?
Nothing about that.
Wait, so wait, I'm so confused.
What is the
I thought,
So, when I saw the
I thought this
article-
was going in a good
When I
direction.
saw the
Yeah.
article, I was so excited because I was like, oh, all the article said was student working visa required or things are changing.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, finally, this is what we need. The government said, you know what? Foreign students can only work 20 hours a week. We're gonna help you out. We're gonna make it 25 hours a week.
No,
mean,
but
that
isn't it
is
isn't it
good.
starting from 25 hours? Because it used to be the minimum was 20, I think.
No, the
No,
maximum was
maximum
20.
is 20,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
On a D2 visa as a student, you can work up to 20 hours during the week. I mean, you can work unlimited on the weekends, but during the week, you can only work up to 20 hours.
So now it's 25.
But now it's 25.
See,
like
that
an
is
extra
an
hour a
improvement.
day.
But it is.
That's an improvement. So hour a day, that's extra $20.
It feels like one of those things. It's just like
I don't know how much they get paid. Just,
It's
no,
like-
$20 a day. Extra $20 a day, no?
Yeah.
$20 a day.
Extra
it's-
for
it's
the
like
hour.
extra
Don't-
5
don't
hours.
You get
You
like,
think I'm making $20 an hour working at a samgyeopsal chip?
He said extra 20.
man, I don't know.
He said 20 extra $20 a day, so 5 hours.
Oh no, 20. No. What?
You guys are confused. No, I'm just
Oh,
saying.
okay, no.
You
$20
can
an
you can
hour.
work up
So-
5 more hours a week.
Yeah, so that's $20
Yeah.
a day. That's $100 a week.
How's that-
extra.
how's that-
If you're earning $20 an hour, I'm getting under the
Oh.
assumption that you were.
Yeah, no part-time workers are earning $20 an hour.
Man, I
What,
don't
10?
know the rates.
Yeah, probably like nine. The minimum wage is 9,000. Most gogi chips are
Oh, okay.
9,000.
So
The most you're gonna get paid as like an albasang is like 11,000, and that's if like your boss is just really nice and they absolutely love you.
an extra $40 a week.
Yeah, it's a step forward, but it just feels like one of those things where they're just like, here, take this little handout. Stop
No, but
complaining.
I
like
think-
we're
I
doing
think-
stuff for you.
I think that it does. I mean, maybe not in your case, but I think it does help out a lot of people who are here. Maybe they come from other countries in Asia as well, where it's harder for them to support themselves in a country that is, or in a city that is as expensive. And maybe their parents can't send them as much money as they need. So they're able to work a little bit more so that they can sustain themselves.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
Because
I'm just
the
saying.
idea, I remember reading about this, and the whole idea behind it was to attract more international students.
Yeah.
So just stop
sucks.
talking from your privilege.
I was about to say, so it's a case of, privilege versus no privilege, right?
Yeah.
I just feel like they could.
But I do agree about the part like, why does it only have to be serving jobs? Why
Yeah.
can't it be an internship
Yeah.
in some
Over here.
companies?
No, 100%. It's always the sort of different argument of why not this, why not that? But you sort of end up just getting into circles because you say, why not that? The next person says, well, why just that? Why not this? And so it goes in the circle. So sort of,
But it can't be then,
It's-
you can't work in your field that you're studying
Nope.
at all?
Nope. Nothing. Literally, no job they would approve of it.
Well,
I
shit.
can think of a
Yeah.
job.
So here's my solution. It's a very simple solution. You just take the D2 visa and you make 2 different kinds. You split it in 2. You have a D2 visa that's for language learning student. Well, that's a D4, I guess. So it's kind of already separated. But I think you make a D2 visa separate for international students and exchange students at universities. Because I can understand exchange students not being allowed to work because they're only here for 6 months to a year.
Yeah, I
they
get
shouldn't. I agree. They shouldn't be allowed to like go and take those expertise
But you're
jobs.
actually like a student.
But I'm actually a 4-year student who's committed to like being here. I think that deserves its own like special classification and allows a different type of part-time work.
I agree 100%, but this also then goes into ideas of just Korea's immigration policies in general,
Yeah.
where a lot of the cases are, if you want a job in Korea, you don't just have to be qualified. Your work must then argue why they are hiring you
Yeah.
and not another Korean.
Yeah.
So,
which is very hard, I think, in
It's-
fields that are
yeah.
not like international trade or IT.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I can see why they might not want to do that, but I do agree they should, You're putting a lot of effort, you're paying to be here. Let the man work.
So that was our news of the week.
Nice. So after the news of the week, let's get into the main dish, flex culture.
Ooh, what is
Now,
that, Brandon?
I'm pretty sure this is like working out,
This is
posting pictures of yourself in the
you
mirror.
got it, baby.
Can you put like a
Right.
hip hop song under this? When you
A K-pop song?
hip hop.
Oh, hip-hop song.
It's like flexing, right?
Flex culture. Get my Photoshop some girls. This is now purple. It's lean, baby. Oh yeah, So you got it. Flex culture. One part going to the gym, not exercising, but then just standing and posing in the
Yeah,
mirror,
it's
which
flex,
is
right?
exactly what it is. That's a flex, right? You're showing something off, but you don't actually got it. So
So what is the like actual thing we're going to be talking about though?
we're going to be talking about flex culture in terms of, to put it nice and bluntly, like our manager described it as, showing off on social media. But deeper than that, it's just showing off with things you can't necessarily afford, to the point where you end up in debt or just very poor.
So let me ask this, because this was something I was curious about. Is it only specifically if you can't afford it? Because I think I was under the assumption that if you can afford it, like, it's still flex culture, because it's the idea of like trying to show off your wealth.
So this is the sort of, I guess, linguistic or technical debate into what flex culture actually is. And I think it is inclusive of flex culture, but again, other people then argue you can afford it, so it's not flexing, it's just your daily life.
Your thing.
You know, your life has been upgraded, and so it's not necessarily a flex, because this is what you can afford. But I think because of the impact you then have on other people, it's still part of the culture.
Yeah, I would
So
still
it's a
say
difference.
flex.
It's not necessarily flexing, I might argue, but it's part of flex culture, right? Culture is always a lot broader. So I definitely think it's not just the people who can't afford it.
I think
If you're buying things just to show off,
right.
that's flexing.
Yeah, I
whether
think
you can afford
the
it or not.
intention. Like,
Yeah.
what are you buying these things for? Because if it's like, I don't know, if you need a nice car for work, then it's not really a flex. But if you're doing it just because you want to have a nice, like, really nice car and show off, that's flexing.
The important word there is show off.
Yeah.
Because some people can just want nice things without necessarily showing off, right?
Right.
If I had a choice between a Rolls Royce and, I don't know, some Kia Morning, man, I'm choosing a Rolls Royce. Not because I want to show off. Will I show off with my Rolls Royce? For sure. But that's not why I'm choosing it, right?
Yeah.
So there's always this sort of weird nuance.
Right.
This is a completely random thing, but like when I was a kid, I used to always be like, oh, I really want a Rolodex. Because I thought that's what the watch was called.
Oh my god.
I would hear people talking about Rolodexes, and I'd be like, oh, that's a nice watch. And then I learned, oh, that's actually just like the little like
Name card thing.
no name card thing.
It's so
Yeah.
funny too, because like I don't think that people know what Rolodexes are anymore.
Probably not.
Nope.
Like
Yeah.
who has them?
Yeah, nobody.
Yeah.
So probably in Korea because they have the business card culture.
True.
True. Actually. Huh. Yeah, Korea still has business cards.
Hmm.
Actually, I have business cards. Wait, I'm just saying. You have business cards? No.
The other thing I'm going to be interested to hear is, and we'll maybe talk about it a little bit later, is his opinion on how China compares. Because I've also heard this is a big thing in China as well.
Huge.
Yeah.
I also have some numbers on that.
So we'll get to that. Yeah. But before we
But,
get to that,
Yeah, I was gonna say. So, do any of you consider yourselves flexers? Okay, so I'll talk to the one with the most money first. Dagur, do you flex? Do you show off your wealth?
Not necessarily, but I do like. I would say I spend money on like quality pieces of clothing or that kind of stuff.
man has 18 holes in his shirt.
That's how you know it's.
That's how you know.
That's how you know you
solid.
paid. The more holes, the more it costs.
I just was like, waiting for him to be like, oh yeah, I like quality clothes.
I had
Wait a
someone. I
minute.
was wearing this shirt on the train, and some old lady came up to me. It's like, "There's a hole in your shirt," and then she was like, "Oh wait, oh no, it's design." But like, I like to spend money on like quality pieces and like a little bit higher end stuff. I don't want to buy the cheapest thing, but I don't show. As you guys might know by my Instagram, I haven't posted a photo in 2 years.
Dude, this man's a ghost. Sometimes I
So-
wonder, is he still there?
I don't think I'm a flexer, but I do like quality things.
Okay.
What about you, Brandon?
Me? Hell no. I flex nothing. I spend my money on food. Is that part of flex culture?
If you post it all the time and it's expensive,
Yeah.
I would
Yes.
say it's flex culture.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I don't
But
post.
I do know you actually enjoy the food.
I love
Right.
food. I'm a,
But there are
yeah.
people who just go to a restaurant just to take the photo of the food and don't really enjoy it.
Speaking of which,
Speaking of which, Five Guys opened
Five
up in
Guys.
Korea, and many people are doing that. People are queuing as early as 6 a.m. in the morning, and then Five Guys only opens up at 9 a.m. And
To
in
be
fact-
fair, for the best burger, fast food
debatable,
burger.
but
I'm with this,
debatable,
I'm with
but
this.
debatable, but okay, I'll accept. And in fact, I think the guy who had the first Five Guys Korea burger waited in queue for 12 hours. So he lined up the night before.
that's insane.
But he can flex and say I was the first.
Yeah, so that's what he's doing. He now flexes and says, I was the first. And it's like, man, would you? Would any of you wait in queue for something for 12 hours?
For something, I'm sure there's something out there that like
That you'd stand in queue for
that
12
I would
hours?
wait in for 12 hours. I don't know what it would be, but I'd have to think about it. But I'm sure there's something in my life that like that could come out that I would stand in line for 12 hours for.
To flex.
Ooh, just to flex?
Hell no.
Probably not. Just because I probably can't afford it.
If it's for the flex, no.
For the flex, no.
If it's something that I'm passionate about and I really, really want it because, like, for me, that's the experience that I want to have in my life, then maybe. But I also don't know what it would be.
I mean, when I was in high school, I would wait in line to get Call of Duty every year. I'd line up
that
the
for
day
World of
before and wait
Warcraft
all
too.
day until midnight. But again, that's not like flexing, right? So because I wasn't like posting it on social media or anything like that.
Right.
So I just wanted to play the video game.
I waited for 1 hour when Red Dead Redemption 2 came out. But it was 1 hour.
Yeah, that's
Oh, not
I
bad.
did it
But
for like 3 years when World of Warcraft Burning Crusade came out.
I do want to say, though, I think
I was
the
10.
the other idea on flexing culture is, especially so in Korea, it's not just the idea of, oh, I didn't post it on social media, so I'm not flexing. People here just flex in real life.
True.
So they bring up clothing items, luxury products in conversation. Hey, did you see my Apple Watch? I just bought this nice Apple Watch. Apple's really a great company, so you should check out my Apple Watch. It's like, dude, you said Apple Watch 4 times in one sentence. And it's just kind of like,
what kind of watch do you have?
right? So,
An Apple Watch?
Oh yeah, no.
you know, they sort of played off, oh, it's not flexing, I'm not posting it. Yeah, but you
Yeah,
keep
that's true.
mentioning, you keep bringing this thing up.
Yeah, I would say it's not just social media; it's also like bragging to your friends and like
Yeah,
colleagues about it
exactly.
a lot. Yeah.
And I think people also flex a lot by like they'll buy a piece of clothing that doesn't really fit their whole outfit, but just wear it just because it's a Gucci sweater or
I
something.
have seen this so many times. Sometimes it doesn't even fit. And it's just like, dude, that shit's way too big. But you says Gucci, so you do your thing.
Yeah. I will say the one thing that I've noticed that Koreans do a lot, and it's the Korean guys, is and I'm not knocking the style or like anyone who wants to use it, but in Korea it's just like so much more than I've seen it in any other place. Is the use of like handbags
the clutch
for guys?
bags.
Oh,
The clutch bags.
yeah.
I'm not gonna lie,
I'm sorry. But as a guy, you just don't have that much stuff. I've never met a guy who had so much stuff that he was carrying around that he needed a clutch bag.
Wait. You see me
No,
and
no,
all the
a
stuff I
clutch
have
bag.
in my bag.
Like,
No,
So
like,
where's
you
the
have
clutch
the-
bag?
You have a bag.
No, it's not a clutch bag, but like you were saying, you haven't met someone who has that many things. I have that many
Oh,
things.
true. You do have a
but
lot.
I don't know why, but whenever I see a clutch bag, I just think it's the most stupid thing in the world.
It's the ones they have to actually hold with
Yeah.
their hands.
Yeah.
A bag is for freeing up your hands.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But you still have to use your hand.
that's my problem with it.
Which is also sort of counterintuitive because the whole reason the clutch bag market is big for women is because they don't do pockets.
Yeah.
We have pockets. You know, just slide your phone in your
Put on
pocket.
your cargo
good to go.
pants, man.
Yeah.
Come on. Your overalls. You got like 5 pockets on those. No, but you go stand in a line. I'm sure we'll see it tonight. We're planning on heading out to Apgujeong, kind of
We're gonna
the
be
flex
flexing.
area.
So we are going to flex tonight.
We're doing market research, right?
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
market
Yeah.
research into flexing. Yeah.
So I'm sure we'll see. I mean, like if you're in a place like that, I feel like especially in lines for like clubs and stuff like that, I see people with clutch bags all the time. And like even like my outfit right now is I call this like my Korean F-boy outfit.
Yes, because it is.
This is what every Korean wears when he goes out to the club or drinking. But the difference is that their shirt is probably 10 times more expensive than mine. Their pants are 5 times more expensive.
It's like
than
a
mine.
Hanes-
They're wearing a
Hanes
Gucci
three-pack.
Gucci belt. Yeah, it is a Hanes. You're 100% right. It's a Hanes t-shirt. Yeah. So it's like even though I'm wearing the same outfit and like I feel like at first glance there's no way you'd be able to tell, but theirs is just like so much more expensive than mine, and I know that. But
So I'm curious now, what is the most expensive clothing item each one of us owns?
it's a good question.
I have a pair of shoes that cost maybe around 200. But it's like really nice Adidas running shoes that I like to wear when I work out.
I have never seen you run in my life, but okay.
We live in the opposite side of the city. What do you mean?
Exactly, so run over, come on.
For me, it's my Yeezys.
You have Yeezys, wait. Oh, yes, you
Yeah,
do.
you've seen my
Oh,
Yeezys.
yes, I've seen
But
them. Oh,
I didn't buy
hideous.
them. So the only reason I have them is because my brother, like when they came out, he was like trying to get them on the shoe website. What is it, like StockX or something like
Yeah.
that? And they like ran out of the size that he had, or I guess he was trying to make sure that he got like a size he could wear. So he got this one size, and he got it, but then he got his actual size also. But because he had already committed to buying the smaller size also, he was like, Hunter, do you just want these? Because I don't need 2 pairs of the same shoes, and these ones aren't going to fit me as well. So I was like, yeah, sure. So it was like my Christmas present.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
So, but those are like the most expensive, like flexy thing that I own. Everything else is very like, it's probably like, I've never spent more than $30 on a piece of clothing. Yeah. I've talked to my friends about this so much, is that like, I mean, like, I have like a suit and stuff that I've bought, but in terms of just like my daily wear,
Yeah,
nothing I wear is more than $30.
Dogger's face is like, oh, my socks are $30. Oh, wait. Are we excluding non-daily life items in this conversation?
Yeah, because that just reminded me. I did have a couple of suits like tailor-made.
So I didn't even have that. I just bought a regular suit.
Uh-huh,
at a
okay.
place.
But I did it in China where it's pretty cheap. To get.
Oh, yeah.
You go to the fabric market. Dude, it's fucking great, actually. You go to the fabric market, you get like your measurements, and you're like, okay, I want 5 shirts and 2 suits. And it's right like that.
Did you do your inseam?
All the way up.
All the way. All the way.
Did it cup?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he
Yeah,
definitely
always got a
cup.
cup.
So, Dogger, what's yours?
I really have to think about that one.
This man's entire wardrobe is expensive, so now he's trying to figure out which one's the most expensive.
Well, in that case,
It's
in
definitely
that case,
That
what
case-
would be the average
Yeah, what's
cost
the
of a
average?
piece of clothing?
average.
Yeah.
Maybe $80. 100. It's not that bad, right?
Do you have like,
No,
I
no,
don't
no,
think
no,
it's
it's
that
not.
bad.
It's
I don't
not.
think
It's
it's
like
that
it's
bad,
like
actually.
70 maybe.
do you have any particular like brands that you're partial to?
This guy loves Calvin Klein, I'll tell you that. Don't ask me how I know.
No, I said brands, not men.
Me?
Yeah.
I don't think I own a single Calvin Klein thing. I mean, I kind of do like for cheaper things. I do love Zara,
Zara.
and I used to love Bershka as well, but they moved out of Korea.
What?
It's called Bershka.
Beshka?
I don't know how you pronounce it, but
Okay.
it's a clothing store.
Okay.
It's kind of. I think it's owned by the same company, maybe, but.
I mean,
yeah,
Zara's
Zara's pretty good.
pretty nice. It's like one step above what I can afford. So I go to the poor man's Zara, which is H&M. Pretty much the same styles,
I was like,
just cheaper.
what's the poor man's Zara, but H&M? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's nice.
Yeah, I think the average cost there is probably like $50.
Yeah.
Per thing.
I actually think I have a shirt from Zara, but I got it on discount because my friend used to work there.
This man. I mean,
I love
I
everything
don't
that
think
comes
you
out-
have to
no.
spend a lot of money on clothes, but like that's why I was talking about before. Like I like quality pieces. Like I like to spend a little bit more so it will last a little bit.
Yeah.
That's why I like Uniqlo. Uniqlo,
Uniqlo
I
is
feel
pretty
is
good.
Uniqlo, yeah.
it's like, so the thing is, one, they're durable. The second one is they're very comfortable. And the third one is that they are very nice without being like flashy. You know, they're very simple designs that just look, they don't have a brand on them or anything. So it's just, I really like that. I actually don't like it when there's things like particular brands on my clothing.
I love Uniqlo's marketing. Sort of off topic, but that's what catches me. The fact
This
that
episode is brought to you by
no,
What is Uniqlo's marketing?
just the fact that they have. So Korea in general loves to do marketing where they have just random white people, and it's sort
Uniqlo's
of
Japanese.
like what? Oh, that's why I love them. Yeah, true. Because they're not even Korean.
That's why a
Korean-
lot of Korean people hate them.
Korean,
Yeah.
please, yeah. I remember the Japanese boycott.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so many Korean companies, especially high-end companies, like to feature white actors, white models. Part of the flexing, be like the white American man.
Wow.
Uniqlo.
What can I say?
They're
have a
probably
lot
thinking
of-
about the European people.
Uniqlo, no, but it's always American
America's not
actors.
really known
That's
for
why.
fashion.
Whoa,
They use American actors. That's the
Calm
whole
down,
point,
buddy.
right? But Uniqlo uses a lot of people of color. So I'm just like, oh, I like these dudes. Hell yeah.
all right.
But is it for the right reasons?
I don't care. Homie looks like me. I'm buying that sweater.
Representation.
True.
Right? So it's just like, I can actually see what the sweater would look like on me without having to go into the fitting room.
Yeah.
I'm sold.
But yeah, I do love Uniqlo when you need just like simple pieces like t-shirts and stuff.
Yeah, their mannequins are always very nicely dressed. I do like their
Why do I
mannequins.
picture you just touching the mannequins? You know, pervert?
No, but actually do have a few outfits from Uniqlo actually. But it's usually I just look at the mannequins and I go, oh, I like that one. I just buy everything off that mannequin outfit.
Brandon, can you take him?
I'm done. I'm leaving it.
Yeah, one
But
of
okay,
our
let's-
mutuals, Christian, took me shopping one time because I was like, I need some new clothes, and he took me, and I got like 2 or 3 outfits that I liked. Yeah, they were nice. I've lost them. I don't know where they are. In terms of, I've moved like 4 times since then. I've lost clothes. I don't know where my clothes go.
Nice.
So what about you, Brandon? What's the most expensive?
I'm not gonna lie. I've been sitting here thinking this entire time. I have no idea. I will assume it's the pants I'm currently wearing. I bought them in South Africa at a design store. I'm not gonna name drop because I can't remember for the life of me what the place was called. But I did also go when they were having a discount, so I was like, let's make it cheaper. Nice.
What about your jewelry?
I only wear cheap jewelry
Okay.
because I always lose the shit. I am not gonna walk out with it. I mean, I have some Lauren has expensive pieces that I wear, but I don't like to because there are so many times I go out with 2 earrings, I come home with 1.
How does that even happen?
Good question.
Who's
I too
nibbling on your
wonder.
ear?
Yeah, I too
Wait.
wonder. There
Probably
was
you.
there was one day. Wait, you guys were with me when we on Ricky's farewell. I bought earrings.
Oh yeah, I remember.
I went home and there were no earrings in my ears. So I don't know what happened to them. Yeah.
So I guess it's pretty established we're not flexers.
No.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think
Or at least not in terms of fashion.
Then what would you? Did you have anything that you would say that you're a flexer?
A flexer in? I mean, that's such a difficult question because I keep wanting to go to food, but again, I don't sort of brag about where I've eaten. I like to discuss the food in terms of what I like about it, what I didn't like, how it compares to other expensive places I've eaten. So it's less of a flex and more of a informative discussion between gentlemen who dine at fine establishments. But I think the closest I've come to flexing was when I won an Alienware PC, when Alienware was still, I mean, it's still a pretty cool brand. People like the idea of brands. But when I won an Alienware PC, man, I wouldn't shut up. You all see my Alienware PC that I won? Yeah, I got an Alienware PC. You want to come over and play on my Alienware PC? I was like a madman.
I was kind of like that first with my MacBook, like walking around going to a coffee shop. Oh, I'm a tech dude with my MacBook.
Want to take a look at my code?
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
So I guess, yeah, Alienware tech.
But I agree with you on the food thing. Like, I don't think it's a flex also, but I do like going to nice restaurants and spending a little bit of money more than usual on that.
What do you flex on other than your Lord of the Rings knowledge?
Shit. I think. I don't know because I don't feel like I actually flex about it, but like I like traveling a lot. So, but again, it's not like I take a million pictures to post on social media. I mean, my Instagram actually is only travel pictures, but there's only a total of like 40 pictures because I'll only post 1 or 2 of a specific place that I really liked. And also because I don't take that many pictures. I don't know. Maybe sometimes my Chinese. I flex my ability to speak Chinese sometimes, maybe. But yeah, I don't know. My hair, baby.
Your hair, yeah, it's a
there
good
you
one.
go.
You love your hair. You
I
love
love
your
my
hair.
hair.
I don't really think it's. I do post a lot, like when I go out,
Yeah.
like drinking and partying with my friends and stuff. But it's not like I'm drinking like nice stuff.
you
Like it's
flexing
like
a good
soju.
time. That's
yeah,
what
I
you
flex
flex.
my
There
good
you go.
times, my good friends.
So TFTI, yo,
I
you
flex,
good
I flex
friends.
the most priceless things
Wait,
I have.
you just
my
said
friends.
you just said you flex your good friends, and yet you went out every day this week with none of us. I'm just saying.
You
To
didn't
be fair, I
ask.
didn't want to
Damn.
go.
Yeah, y'all
damn.
didn't ask.
Give me the opportunity to say no.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
as simple as that. Just,
Yeah,
you know.
that is true.
So I have a question then, going back to like flex culture
Yeah.
in Korea. What is something that you've seen people flex a lot in Korea?
That's what I wanted to get to.
For
Because,
me, sorry,
yeah, and
it's cars.
Yeah.
Oh
And
yes.
I
Oh, yeah.
hate this.
Yeah.
Not that there's something wrong with still living with your mother, but don't buy a nice car, like super expensive car, when you still live at home. I think it's ridiculous.
not just buying it. Sometimes they take out loans, and then they rent the fancy car. They don't even buy it.
Like, there's something wrong with the priorities in
Right.
my mind. Especially if you live in Seoul, because you don't really need a car.
Yeah.
Especially when you live with your parents.
To add on to that, the amount of times I just see people driving their cars in the most busiest streets in Hongdae.
I knew you were gonna bring this
It's
up.
like, why? Where are you
Yeah.
going to park your car that you need to drive through the busiest street where everyone's walking with
Yeah.
your top down in your convertible, just strolling by? It's like, bro, just park your car and go party. Like,
Yeah, and it's not only like
no
the
girl's gonna hop in your
busiest-
car on the street. I'm sorry.
It's not only the busiest street; it's also the smallest street where it's only like people. There's so many people walking, you cannot drive through it, but they just love going there. Like, just love driving through.
Which leads them into funny incidents where they, I can't remember who shared this story, but someone shared how someone had run over their feet, and the homie was crying more than her because he said, "Please, I can't afford this." He couldn't afford to pay for insurance despite driving some super
Shit.
fancy sports car.
You want to hear a grim story?
I don't think I do. Do we want to maybe?
Because that's happened in
this?
China too, where it's like somebody hit someone with their car, but they would like come back and finish the job because it would be more expensive to take care of the person instead of paying a fine.
Wait, you mean kill them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can we cut this? What the?
No, I mean, like, when you said finish the job, I was like, haha, it sounds like he killed somebody. And then I was like, wait a minute, he's going on about this. Like, it does sound like they killed somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy, actually.
Yeah, but it's basically the same reason because it's like they are driving cars that they shouldn't be. Like they are spending more on these cars that they actually can afford. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
One of the articles that we're kind of using as basis for this discussion, actually, that Brandon sent, was one of the rappers talked about, like a famous rapper.
Yes.
Talked about how he like felt so much pressure that he had to like have nice cars and nice things. He had like $70 in his
In his
account.
bank account, yeah. So the rappers, you know, the people who you assume can afford to flex,
Yeah.
can't afford to do it. You know, at that stage, how does the average Joe keep up? And I'll tell you how. They don't.
Yeah.
Korea's debt, especially in the age group of 19 to 39, so it's pretty wide, right? From university to people who are sort of established or establishing themselves in the working world is... I thought I had it off the top of my head. I do not.
He was so right.
I was like, I had the number. Oh, I should have said it. I was pretty close. 84.5 million won per person.
God
Wow.
damn.
Now, I will preface this and say a lot of it would probably be influenced or affected by people taking out loans for
Housing.
houses.
Right.
That is a big part. But that
But a
said,
loan for a house would be way more.
that said, in general, Korea is the world's top spender at 21.8 trillion won, which amounts to 400,000 won for each person, which means they are including in this average ajumas, ajushis, babies, you know, people who just
Yeah.
straight up ain't spending money.
Yeah.
So the fact that they're the
It's about
world's top
400
spender,
US dollars a person
Yeah.
spending on luxury items every year,
including babies.
including the
Just
baby.
imagine a baby wearing some like gold nappy or something.
I mean, I've seen some of this shit. That
You know what I think is
people are buying.
a very interesting thing that I've seen, and I think it's also part of flex culture here, is owning dogs. Dogs is a big like flex here.
Especially the big dogs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because everyone lives in, or many people live in small apartments. So basically, like, you don't really have space for them. And so when I see people like walking out their big dogs or even the small ones, but like having a dog and everything is kind of like, oh, I can afford this, or I can afford to keep my dog, or something like that. Like, and you know, there's also the groomers and like the vets and everything. Like, it's a huge, huge expense that you see here more than anywhere else.
And that 100% does get involved in the flex culture. I don't have the stat on me right now, but Korea's dog grooming market and just sort of luxury market for dogs related goods is their fastest growing economy at the moment.
Wow.
Industry.
But it's always the same fucking small white
Yeah,
dog.
little
Yeah,
Maltesers.
the Maltese.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or the
And-
Bichons, those dudes.
Yeah.
The thing that like threw me off so much when I came to Korea was how many people have strollers for their dogs. I mean, like, you see it every now and then in America, and when you see it, you're like, that's a weird person. But in Korea, it's like everybody has strollers for their dogs.
It's like, oh, finally, I see a baby. Oh no, that's a dog.
That's a
Like,
dog.
you're
Which
supposed
one
to,
is
like-
weirder for me?
What?
Someone with a stroller for their cats.
Or that. Yeah.
I've seen that once.
But it's just like the whole point of taking your dog out is so that your dog can walk and get exercise.
Yeah.
Like you put it in a stroller, that's counterproductive.
Out there for the views.
Yeah.
I mean, it might be most kids, probably old dogs and stuff, can't really walk by
No,
be.
but like even young small dogs, they can
Yeah.
only go out for so long. In which case, you don't want to just be carrying your dog if you're still out all the time. Put him in a stroller. It's nice. It's cute.
So,
I don't know.
But it's still pretty crazy.
I almost hate it as much as like clothes for dogs.
You know,
Come on, we saw that cute little dog with that cap
Oh, that-
and that backpack. That was a cool
that's
dog.
cute.
That was a cool dog.
But like when they're wearing this whole outfits and like things on their feet, it's like, come on.
I remember in China there was it's like a very popular area that also if you live around there you probably do have quite a bit of money. But the funniest thing is that if you walked there at night, and it's like, you know, a lot of restaurants and everything, it's a very nice social area. But if you walk there at night, you see a lot of old people just like in their PJs walking their really fancy dogs. And then they just stand around with each other and like talk, and like all the dogs are just kind of hanging around. But they're all wearing PJs. It was hilarious. Just ajumas and ajushis.
what about the dogs? Are the dogs wearing PJs?
No.
No.
Thank
Well,
God.
then it's okay.
I'm just sort of thinking about in terms of who lives in an area that could be considered a flex. Bryant,
What?
2 stations from your place, they have a really nice fancy Starfield mall.
Yeah.
You ever go and look at people flexing? Flex watching?
Not really. I mean, I never saw it that way, but the thing is the place where I live, it's basically a very newly built city. Like the whole city has been planned from the beginning because of Seoul's overpopulation issue. So there's a lot of new buildings and there's a lot of new things, and people started moving there a lot. Like it was technically cheaper when they started building, but now it's almost getting to the same point. It's very nice. I fucking love it there. But I don't think that they're flexers that much, because I've never seen people in that area except for the dogs, where like that's the only,
I know, yeah.
like, but I haven't seen people like actually trying to show their wealth there as much, because it seems to me that they're more like people that are actually well off and they don't have the need to be showing off.
So if they're living there, that's the flex already, right? They don't have to show it off.
I feel
They've
it,
got the wealth.
it kind of, because also the other thing that is really interesting about that area is that I even went to this supermarket where like this old lady was speaking to me in English. Like everyone there seems to speak English. They seem more educated and more kind of like in a higher social class maybe. So I don't know. It just feels that way. But then again, I've only been there 4 or 5 months, so not that sure.
Gotcha.
And it doesn't seem like the kind of place where people would flex, because it's not technically in Seoul. Like if they wanted to flex, they'd go to Seoul to like the fancy areas, and there's where they would try to show off. Like where I'm at, it's like that's home. Like what's the point? Who am I showing off for?
Speaking of the dogs again, that's another thing that I've seen a lot of people flex. Like we talk about like flexing the dogs outside, but the amount of dog Instagrams that I think Koreans have specifically, they corner the dog Instagram market.
They do.
Can you even own a pet in Korea without making an Instagram for it?
No, I think you
cannot.
have to do it when you adopt it. It's like part of the
that's
contract.
Part of the contract. Yeah.
Like you just, there's so many people like on their Instagrams, you'll see in their bio, they just have like a thing, and I'm like, oh, this is probably their secret account or their private account. And you click on it, and it's just a dog. Yeah.
Yeah.
But speaking about how
You seem
you're
so disappointed.
I don't mind it though. Like some people have really cute dogs.
True.
And I'll follow their pets.
It's just always the same dog.
No, it's not though, because I'm talking about one friend in particular. She has a border collie, and that's my favorite dog, and it's a fucking cute dog. So I follow. What is it? Ricky the border, or no, Ricky the collie. That's what it's called. You can search
Now
that.
everyone's gonna go and follow your
Yeah,
friend.
there you go.
Did you get paid for that?
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah.
You have to share that with us.
Where's our share? Cut us in.
I don't know.
You mentioned people coming to Seoul to flex, not really flexing in your area. Like if they want to flex, they're gonna come to Seoul. Where do you guys think like the biggest flexing area is, in your opinion?
Where we're going.
Tonight,
Yeah.
where we're going.
So actually, let's start a bingo.
A bingo.
What do you imagine you're gonna see first? Not maybe see first, but what do you guarantee we'll see?
An asshole driving his car through a crowd.
Nice.
Plastic surgery ad.
Oh, how many in one street, one block?
Yeah.
Would you say that like plastic surgery is also part of the flex culture?
Part of the flex
Oh,
culture?
that's a good question.
No.
I think, in my opinion, that would be more of like the beauty
The
standard.
beauty
culture.
standards.
Yeah.
Less the flex culture, more the beauty standards.
I
But
think
I
there's
think
an
these
overlap.
things overlap and
Yeah.
blend so easily. They influence each other, right? The more beautiful you look, the more you can flex. The more you can flex, the more beautiful you want to look. It's just
Yeah.
a circle.
I think it just overlaps the people who would want to
Yeah.
like be in that flex culture. Also, probably overlap a lot with the people who would want to have plastic surgery to like
Yeah.
look.
But isn't it like also saying like, oh, I can afford to do this?
I don't think it's actually not that expensive in Korea.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
In
too.
Korea, no, the capital of plastic surgery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's an overlap, but it's different.
Shit, I should get something done.
Oh yeah, what would you want to plastic surgery?
No, nothing really.
I can think of
We'll
something.
do a beauty episode of it.
I can think of something.
What?
For yourself or for him?
For myself. No, actually, no, wait. Let me look
thought
at
he was
Brian
like,
and
I can
think
think of
about something.
something you
for
could
him.
use.
Well,
What are you thinking about? Dick reducement surgery?
no. I'll do my feet. I'll make them really nice and pretty and start an OnlyFans.
There's a market for feet like yours.
No,
I think it's a
a niche market.
a
but
niche
it's
market.
there.
Yeah.
I definitely am going to be counting the amount of males carrying Gucci and Louis Vuitton clutch bags.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, speaking of those clutch bags, the interesting thing is they're not all real.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They're all bought in. Where is it? Dongdaemun?
Yeah,
Dongdaemun,
Dongdaemun.
yeah. Dongdaemun's got a nice fake market where you can get your
Famously fake night market.
Yeah. Your Gucci with the triple C's, Louis Vuitton with a B. Would you buy fake goods just to flex? Have you bought fake goods just to flex?
Ooh. Okay, here's the thing. I've never bought fake goods, but it would depend on how much are they. Because I actually don't know. Like, if you're buying a fake Gucci bag, is it like extremely more cheap?
It's more expensive the higher the quality.
Yes.
Right.
So as close to
Like, the better the fake.
the better the fake, the more you pay. Nice.
Like I think the fakes that are like indistinguishable,
Yeah.
they are pretty expensive. But they're not, of course, as expensive as the real one.
Yeah.
But like, how much is a low-end Gucci bag?
If there's like a $500,000, not $500,000, sorry, 500,000 won,
was just like,
500,000
what?
won bag, so like a $500 bag. About how much is a fake gonna run you?
Maybe I don't know.
100?
Like the real good one.
But I think
That's
the
really
high-end
good
ones
then.
are not.
Okay, wait,
500
here we go,
though.
here we
They'll
go, here we
probably be
go.
Like 2,000.
Especially in this one, so knockoffs from China, your people, to high quality A products made locally cost less than 10% of the originals.
Okay.
Wow. If that's the case and it was like not something super indistinguishable, I might buy it just to like improve an outfit. Like if I had an outfit where I'm like, dang, I really want to wear a watch with this, but I don't want to buy like the Swiss Army watch from the Pyeongchang, like I might buy a nice fake watch
So-
just to like bring the outfit together.
Actually, speaking of watches, that is something that I have bought before. And the thing is, when I was living in China, especially at that time, because they're all gone now, there were some big fake markets, like massive, like whole buildings, and they were all selling fakes. And my brother and I used to know one of the people that owned the shop there, and they had the different quality watches there. And like the top quality fakes were so good that at one point, I don't remember if it was either my dad or my brother, they took it to the actual shop, like the actual brand shop, to get it fixed. And they couldn't see that it was a fake.
Wow.
And they fixed it for them.
Oh yeah.
And also they cost a fraction of what it would be. At the same time, I did get it because we used to, whenever we had like people visit or anything, we would be like, you want to visit a fake market and buy some like cool stuff. And so we'd take them and we'd always take them to that shop, to this guy. His name was Leo. And and so like because we brought him so many people, like eventually he'd give us like really good deals on these watches. I had some really I think I still have them. I'm just not sure where, if I left it in Ecuador.
But I just don't think there's like a need for that today. There's so many good brands, just real brands today. They are not expensive. So
That's true too.
Like you said, like to complete an outfit or make something cool. I don't think you really need a fake. You could just find more of
Right.
those like smaller niche brands. And
So it ties into the idea of like sort of traditional brands, right? Why have a new brand that's also pretty hot, good quality, when you can have Gucci and Louis Vuitton? Man, I hate Gucci and half of the Gucci and Louis Vuitton. I'm like, this shit is... No, actually, the brand I hate the most is Balenciaga.
Oh yeah.
Especially the shoes. It's hideous.
Yeah, they
Who's
look
gonna
like
wear that
shit.
shit?
I don't get it.
It's terrible. I like for some Gucci and some Louis Vuitton, I do understand the nice designs. I wouldn't pay for it, but I've never looked at a Balenciaga shoe and been like,
I mean,
that's the
I a
one.
little bit disagree. I think they have some cool shoes.
Always.
I don't think I can pull them off. But I've seen some people pull them off.
Well, for me, I don't like them. I think they look awful. But at the same time, I am very aware that I have no sense of fashion. So I'm like, I guess they look all right. It's just not for me.
They're right.
Please forward me, and to anyone watching this, forward me the good Balenciagas so I too can lay my
Like
eyes
looking
on
at the
them.
shoe itself, just
But-
on the picture, I don't think it looks really good. But
No, I've
complete
been,
it with
no,
that.
I've sort of been to Balenciaga stores and looked at, held them, and I'm just like, I don't get it. This is not.
I'll send you a picture.
Yeah, send me, please. It's just, oh,
I'm remembering now that I have bought one high fashion item in my life.
yeah.
Yep. I bought a $5 Supreme face mask for my brother.
Oh, my, get me out.
It was just a cloth face mask that just said Supreme that had the logo across it.
I once got a gift.
Bought it in Myeongdong.
I once got a gift of a Supreme bag, and I thought, wow, hell yeah, it was a fake.
And like Korea's pretty. One of the things that actually I read in one of the articles that I had actually heard about before. If you guys ever saw the show Singles Inferno, which was like the island dating show
Yeah.
that was really popular in Korea. I'm guessing that Bryant probably didn't.
No,
see
but
it,
I remember the controversy over
The
one
what?
of the
Of the one chick.
yeah.
Wait, what did you call it?
Controversy.
Controversy?
Controversy.
Controversy.
Is that how y'all say it?
Controversy.
Controversy?
Controversy, yeah.
Is
Why am I
another-
saying
is
it
that
like
a-
him?
is that
Wait,
another
no, I just said it
pronunciation?
like him. No,
I don't know.
controversy.
No, I
is
like that
correct.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
controversy.
I'm gonna say it like
Controversy.
that. Controversy.
I was like, what is this word he's saying?
Controversy, yeah.
It's like
Alright,
my favorite word ever.
anyways.
Yeah.
Jalapeno.
I have a friend who
Shout out to Trailer Park
who
Boys.
what's called tteokbokki. He was like, "Oh yeah, the tteokbokki's really good."
Get me out. Get me out.
Yeah, the
But,
controversy
what's
that
the,
happened.
controversy?
With one of the
Controversy.
girls, I think it's like Gia, I think is her name. She was like on the show, and she was a YouTuber who does a lot of like fashion stuff. And all of her videos were about like, okay, look at my new outfit that I have. I'm wearing this person.
was a
I'm doing
flexer.
this. She was a huge flexer, a
Yeah.
flexing YouTuber.
Yeah.
And I don't even know how, but like people like fucking micro analyze things and were like, it's fake.
Yeah.
Like the stuff you're wearing is fake.
Yeah.
And she got like a lot of heat for that. Like ended up deleting her entire YouTube channel, deleted her entire social media stuff, like had to go on and like apologize to everyone and it was obviously Koreans getting mad about
Yeah.
this. And like I remember reading on like Reddit and stuff at the time was like everyone was like, why are Koreans freaking out about this? Like who cares if she's wearing fake stuff? Like
That's it.
But to be fair, she was running a whole channel.
Yeah, I would
about
say
it.
when you're on
Yeah.
a channel, you can't.
It's like it doesn't matter if
Yeah.
you're just walking around in fake stuff, but when
Yeah.
you're pretending that is, So I don't think she should have got it as canceled as she got.
yeah.
It was quite harsh.
And it wasn't even that all of her stuff was fake. It was just like certain items were fake.
Yeah.
But talking about like in America, some cancel culture is going on or whatever, it doesn't compare to the Korean one.
Oh, yeah.
Korean cancel culture.
We could do a whole episode
Yeah,
on Korean
geez.
cancel
You could, you
culture.
Sending lotties and stuff.
Run through celebrities that have been canceled.
Yeah, all the trucks that
the-
they send to the,
all the
the
trucks.
gaming buildings.
It's always just and for like mundane stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
So, final thoughts on Korea's flex culture. Will you be buying in, or do you think it's just a bit too much?
I do think it's too much. Like, because like you were running through numbers, like people are going into debt for that shit. It's like if you have a lot of money, like I get it, show off you're living a good life, but don't go into debt for your
Go home and eat ramen.
Yeah, you flex that one
Yeah, that's
restaurant that you eat
exactly what
ramen
happens,
the rest of the week.
People go out with all their bling, their fancy cars. They go home and it's like half a kimbap.
Yeah.
Gotta save the other half for tomorrow. You know?
I mean, I'm doing that without the flex culture. No, I think like I think I agree with you guys. Like, if you have the money for it, like I don't really see an issue with it. Like, if you want to show it off, show it off. Like, I guess that's your prerogative. but I'm the same. Like I personally don't see a point in spending the money that I don't have just to look better for other people.
I think like yeah. Well, the first thing is the same. If you can't afford it, it's up to you. But I do think that another problem too is that a lot of I've seen, and it's not that I'm saying how you should live your life, but I've seen a lot of people who like focus so much on how they want to be seen doing a certain thing that they don't actually enjoy the thing that they're doing. And so like for example eating or even traveling, like you spend so much time taking this picture and that picture that time has passed and you didn't actually do anything there. Which is why like for me when I travel, like I don't take that many pictures because I'm so focused on doing different things. Like I'm going to this place, I want to see this, I want to see that. And then eventually when I see like a very nice view, then it's like, okay, I want to take a picture of that. But yeah, you see a lot of people spending so much time, like you have a couple of hours at one place and then you spend an hour and a half just taking pictures in the outside part and you didn't actually even go in. So like if it's interfering with your ability to actually enjoy things, then I don't know if it's worth it. I mean, for me, it isn't.
Yeah.
But then if that's what you want to do, that's
I
what you
had
wanna
this
do.
kind of conversation also with a person that they said, I actually enjoy the taking the picture and that part of the whole thing. So like, I guess that's something. But
Right. Yeah.
Still, I think it's kind of stupid.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a different of opinion in my case. Because like for me, that's not enjoying it.
Yeah, and I'll say outside of like personal opinion, I think one of the biggest issues for me, not just with this part of culture, just in general, is the sort of negative impact it can have on younger people. Because the only way you sort of break this sort of culture is to educate people and be like, this is not cool. But when young people look up and like, that's the cool stuff, you keep on rotating and creating the same culture. And that's why it's to a point where, final number, Korea high schoolers and middle schoolers, 60% say they spent money on luxury goods.
And actually,
What?
that
Go and
reminds
buy
me
a
of something.
kimbap.
That reminds me of something because you must have seen the different trends that happen at different points. For example, I remember when I first came, I think it was all the middle schoolers and teenagers, they're wearing like National Geographic big ass jackets
Yeah.
and shit. And before that, it was North Face.
North Face, yeah.
And so like the point is that I remember talking to people and it was like the parents, they feel like shit, it's so expensive. It's hard to buy these things, but at the same time, like I don't want my kid to be singled out as the one that doesn't have it.
Yeah,
So I think that puts a strain on people.
it does. It definitely does.
And that's another part of flex culture we kind of forgot about. That is parents flexing their kids
Yeah.
by sending them to international hagwons and
Those
whatever,
ones I don't mind
preschools
too
and-
much because some of them
'Cause it
do
pays
pay
your bills.
like some of them
True.
they do have better educators.
Yeah.
But also
some of them
how they
don't.
send the kids to school. Like I've seen some kid, like some 2-year-old in like Gucci and Prada. Man, you're gonna wake up tomorrow and homie's outgrown that stuff.
Yeah.
You know? How do you buy it for like a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old? They just grow so quickly.
Then you put it on Tangun.
Yeah, pretty much.
But for me, like when a 4-year-old goes to English preschool, it doesn't fucking matter.
No, I think it does. I disagree
I
strongly
like it for
there.
different reasons, but when it's done to flex, I do agree.
Yeah, I mean, too flex. Like
Yeah,
if it's
no, no,
really,
too
if the
flex.
kid is really
yeah.
learning, sure.
Yeah.
But I don't think 60% of, like, I think maybe
don't know.
30% of
Yeah, I
kids.
think I
do.
disagree with those.
I disagree because I think that is the age where you should get them to learn languages. Like that's where it sticks the most. And so if you get them early,
But most of these schools aren't
No,
teaching them
I was
languages.
gonna say,
They're
I
just-
think Dog is talking about the sort of celebrity schools where they pay money, expensive money, just because they have the idea of a celebrity teacher, which is another thing you if
the
you want
fuck
to
is
jump.
a celebrity?
No,
I was-
this is an entire. Oh, you
Well,
didn't
that
know.
is a new
Oh,
thing.
I thought you
Yeah,
were
I
talking
don't
about
know
this.
anything about
I
this.
said, okay, so this is an entire. I think it would be a great podcast episode. But Korea has celebrity teachers, and I actually asked one of my students when they introduced the subject to me. I was like, "Do you think I could be one?" He was just like, "Nah." I was like, "Yeah, you're not white enough for this shit." I was like, "Ah,
geez.
When you
damn."
say like celebrity teachers, are you talking about like Tyler?
Hey.
Do you know like the Tyler teacher guy?
Oh, no,
who's in
Not-
every
not the Tyler we know.
English
No.
teaching Instagram ad.
Yes.
Yeah, so in the likes of that,
Okay.
but to extremities.
Oh.
Yeah, I think we might see it today in Gangnam.
Yeah,
I don't think we'll go to the right neighborhood for it, but we might see it on some buses.
Gotcha.
I'll point it out. Okay, so
but
apologies.
what I
I thought you were
about-
talking about celebrities.
Because I know like Brian is passionate about the teaching when he's teaching the kids. But there are so many people here who are not here for teaching. And they are working at these international schools, and they are just like we talked about before.
But a lot
I
of
think
the
it's a
times,
separate issue.
yeah. I
No,
think
but the parents are sending those kids to those schools just because so they can say they are sending their kids to those schools.
that is the thing. That's what I'm saying.
Like
It's
I
not
live
about-
next
yeah.
to a neighborhood
Remove
called.
English. I think remove the word English out of it.
I think it's
That's what's
especially
happening.
English.
That's all. It's all.
I don't know. I mean, I guess. I mean, if the intention is to say that, then yeah. But if I don't know, like there are results coming out of it. I mean, because I really do think that at that age is the best age for them to pick it up as fast as they can. Because a lot of the times what I see is the opposite. They send them when they're already like 10 years old, and they don't pick it up as fast. And then there's a lot of like stuff they have to catch up with that they should have already learned.
I feel like this is trailing too much into an education.
Yeah, this
topic.
is, and so I do want to nip it in the bud a little bit, but I do think it's a hot topic, and you are both right and incorrect.
We'll come back on
So
another
stop
education.
flexing yourselves about something that.
We'll come back. We'll write this down. Make a little note. Bring
Yeah.
your arguments
But
next time. We'll
we
talk about
we
an
enjoy the
education episode.
tangent, but time wise, we gotta cut it short, unfortunately. So leave us a comment. Do you want Bryant and Dagur to pick it up right where we left off? We'll have them wearing the same clothing.
So what's our
Fuck English education.
so what's our question for the listeners this week?
So our question for the listener is: please leave us a comment as
Not a
to
question.
how you. Doug, he's not wrong. Shit, he got me. I should go to an English school. Brian, you looking for a student? Anyways, question of the week is: do you flex? How are you flexing?
Yeah, what's your flex?
What's your flex?
Or what's like your flex item if you
I
have
have
one?
one- I had one more question.
That was what I was gonna say. I was gonna say, leave us a comment about your most expensive piece of clothing or jewelry, or just leave us a comment as to how you flex. Is there anything?
Or what
you
is the most
wanna flex?
ridiculous flex you've seen other people do?
That's a good one. I like that one. Yeah. What's the most ridiculous flex you've seen someone else do?
Or just out of the norm. Because like I said, having dogs here is a flex that like in other countries it's just so
Oh,
normal.
yeah,
It's
my
like I
dog.
have dogs.
Yeah.
Like everyone has a dog. But here it's like, oh, I have a dog.
I got that dog in me.
Okay.
God.
We're cutting
We
it
should
out of
just
the video.
end it here.
I had one more question about some numbers and shit, but now let's just
No,
cut
no,
it.
go ahead. What was your last
Now I was
question?
thinking, like you said, the high school is like 60% of them
Yes.
admit to spending. What is the floor for a luxury good?
That is a question that doesn't go into, which is also why, despite being the numbers guy today, on another tangent, I hate statistics. Because everything can just be tweaked
I love 'em.
and slanted.
Numbers don't lie.
Numbers lie. Numbers don't lie, you're right. But the way people use numbers.
Yeah, the way
it's like
people use numbers.
Whenever I see statistics, I'm like, what are you hiding? What are you not saying? You know, what's the 40% or how do we make this margin? I'm fully with that. So there's always a lot of gray, but nonetheless, I think the idea of flex culture in Korea, despite the gray, is mostly a downer. So don't forget to leave us a comment, leave us a review. We will read reviews on air.
Yeah.
You can choose who's going to read the review. And more importantly, flick the notification
Hey,
bell.
hey, that's my line. You
I was like,
bastard.
let me steal that shit.
You
No.
could do the hand motion when he
Oh,
says
what does it do?
Flick the bell. Flick it.
How many flicks?
Flex the flicking.
Where is this going? Everyone, thank you for listening. This was episode 14.
Damn! I thought we were gonna. When you were doing the intro, I was like, we're not gonna say it. Nice,
Yeah.
and now you ended.
This was episode
technically.
Technically 15, but we have the
14.5.
secret unreleased episode that might
Delete that.
maybe we'll put it on Patreon in the future.
Nah, don't
No.
get
Delete
don't
that.
don't get excited.
Delete
It was
that.
absolute
It was
dog
so
shit.
bad. Yeah, it was so bad. So thank you for your patience waiting for an extra week. Tell us if you like this format better. That's another thing we'd love to hear. Yeah. But until the next can't talk. Until the next time, everyone. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you. Bye.